Couple months ago, our Discord server got a message mentioning about a tournament called Terminus Challenger League, where you draft yourself a team you are going to use, battle your way to the playoffs, and hopefully win the semifinals and finals themselves. If you don't know what drafting is, it basically means that each of the contestants take turns to choose their Pokemon. We had a score limit which limited our choices, and the Pokemons were given points regarding their competitive use. Being confident I am, I signed in and named my team Finnish Flyers. Credits for the logo to the Mister Marshadow, check his channel from the description below and other contestants as well. I was ready to fight my way to the top 7 against 7 other content creators, and here's how it went. Each of us took turns to pick our Pokemon, and I was second in line, which gave me a massive lead to get some good Pokemon. The first choice is the most crucial one because you build your team around the Pokemon you choose. And I chose the best there is, Nidoking. Everyone else was pretty skeptical, but I knew he could take me far, and besides, he was called the Nidoking, and I wanted to show them why. I managed to get a decent team consisting some of my favorite Pokemon and good coverage. My team was following Nidoking, Celesteela, Tapu Koko, Weavile, Slowbro, Dragonite, Conkeldurr, and Kangaskhan. I barely managed to get these under the score limit, and I was pretty happy how the team looked. I had some substitute Pokemon to swap between each match, so I could build my team pretty freely. Without thinking too much, I built my first team and got ready for my first match against Baker Bulbasaur and his team called Bulbasaur. Here you can see his team being Spectrier, Corviknight, Rotom Heat, Torkoal, Venusaur, Diggersby, Lantern, Sneasel, Shackle, and Slurproof. Here's how my first battle went. So yeah, that didn't go quite as I hoped, and I felt kinda down after the first battle being this brutal, so I promised myself to never lose a single battle anymore. I still had 6 more matches to go to get a chance to proceed to the playoffs, so I still had some hope. I also promised myself that if I win this whole tournament, I would share a face reveal after this video. So if you're thinking why you should watch this video, here is your answer. I began to carefully build my team, this time thinking a little bit more for the upcoming battle against Mister Marshadow's most deep Metagross. His team was following Tornadus Cherian, Tangrowth, Incineroar, Metagross, Galvantula, Gastrodon, Hitmonchan, Aromatisse, and Pikachu. We had slight problems on getting the clip, so the next battle will be a raw footage, so it will be a little longer, but I'm trying to edit it as short as possible. But anyways, here's how the battle went. Again, I'm sorry for the footage being like that, but at least you saw me won, right? Which matters. Correct. As you probably guessed, I used Nidoking with Choice Scarf, which basically made him faster, but enables only the use of one move while he's in. During this tournament, I grew to love that set, and it became my go-to set to almost any battle I went on. Moving forward, with a little confidence boost, I faced against AlmightyArceus and his team Los Angeles Lycanrocs. It was my time to show how a king can beat a god. Here's his team: Dragabolt, Tapu Lele, Kartana, Rotom Wash, Umbreon, Arcanine, Mudsdale, Cinccino, Roselia, Claydol, and Pawniard. Honestly, this team was the team I was scared the most. Being honestly a little scared, I built my team and went down praying for the almighty AlmightyArceus for help. Honestly speaking, this was one of my favorite battles out there. The amount of RNG I got needed to win this battle was way too much, especially the 1v1 between Tapu Lele and Slowbro. I was almost ready to forfeit when I got blasted the whole match, but thankfully I was able to triumph. AlmightyArceus haven't lost a single battle up to this point, so I was shaking the whole battle, but luckily I was able to get the victory. Next up was Lord Jeff's Rising Raptors with his team of Melmetal, Clefable, Urshifu Rapid Strike, Salazzle, Silvally, Regigigas, Zygarde, Vikavolt, Unvetant, and Crustle. Here is the fourth match. At this point, I was convinced that Nidoking and Slowbro were the MVPs of my team, Slowbro getting two massive threats, being Zygarde and Urshifu so early with a little bit RNG, and Nidoking sweeping the rest of the team. Honestly, that battle couldn't have been any better. Next victim was AlexTheGreat and Binghamton Breloom. His team consisted of Toxapex, Lycanroc Dusk, Mew, Sylveon, Volcarona, Salamence, Mamoswine, and Galarian Corsola. Oh, and don't mind the nicknames. My girlfriend was watching and she really wanted to nickname some of my Pokemon, so enjoy! Being once again one of the closer matches, I was overall happy how it went. Getting confidence once again for getting better and better, I was ready for my second last match before the playoffs, against Fishbrats and White Dragonairs. This team consisted of Landorus Therian, Terrakion, Tabubulu, Havlucha, Tauros, Volcanion, Decidueye, Cobalion, Electivire, and Zygarde 10%. Honestly, I was once again a little scared because he had Electivire, which is a move for pretty much any one of my team, but I stayed determined and carefully went on to the next battle. Guess I was scared for nothing. After I got rid of his Electivire and Landorus, there was nothing to be afraid of anymore, and I secured my first place in the rankings at this point. There was still the last battle to go for before the playoffs, but I've basically secured my place at this point. My last foe before the playoffs was VMI's team called Houston Toxas, who had Tapu Fini, Zapdos, Aegislash, Garchomp, Among Us, Politoed, Dreadnought, Raichu, Dusknoir, and Linoon Galar. After remembering my last battle against the weather team, which I completely lost, I was a little terrified. It didn't help that I always hated rain teams in particular, but I decided to use it on my advantage, as you will see now. Bringing in Tapu Koko and Nidoking both backing with Thunder really was a great idea. Scarford Nidoking once again made sure that the water-type traits couldn't outspeed him, which once again proved that I made the right call choosing Nidoking first. That battle was the last battle before the playoffs, and I was able to keep my lead in rankings despite my day 1 humiliation. I was ready to go on the playoffs, with the others being Baker, the one who has been the only one to beat me so far, AlmightyArceus, the one who I only won with RNG, and Lord Jeff, who I destroyed the last time but was ready to give me a revenge. We started with semifinals. The matches were me versus Lord Jeff and Baker versus AlmightyArceus. The matches were best out of 3, which meant that we had to get 2 victories to proceed. We were able to swap out teams between each round, so you can only guess how much thinking the playoffs required. But I was glad that I got to the semifinals already. Although I already set my eyes on Baker, I wanted my revenge for the bloodshed of the day 1. But first, I had to get past my first obstacle, Lord Jeff. He already knew my best tricks in this tournament, so I had to be a little creative. But I was pretty happy what I came up with. Here's how the matches went. Oh my god, was I shaking during this match. Thankfully, we were allowed to swap our teams around between each round, which secured me my victory. For some reason, Jeff didn't exploit that, but that just made things easier for me, so I'm not complaining. Also, just to let you know, it was 5 a.m. when the match was happening because of the time differences, so I was constantly shaking and thinking about the next wet dreams the whole time. And now, it was the time we have all been waiting for, the long-awaited final. After the first match, I vowed to never lose a single match, and that promise has led me to this moment. My last opponent was none other than the one who beat me in the first place, Baker Bulbasaur. I spent 2 weeks to study his team and what I could do better than last time. I was shaking, my palms were sweaty, knees weak, and arms were heavy. I took a big breath, couple minutes before the finals, and here is what happened. I won! For the first time in ages, I felt alive. I connected to the universe and learned Obama's last name. Jokes aside, we also had a league leaders ranking which showed what Pokemon were the MVPs of the whole tournament. As you can see, the so-called outcast Nidoking was third place, being my MVP. You might be thinking what I gained from this tournament. I would say knowledge, experience, and 20 bucks. Also, if you enjoyed, feel free to subscribe and hit notification because another tournament is coming shortly, so you shouldn't miss on it.